Welcome to the Explosive Streak Podcast with Jared Bidney. On today's episode, I have one of the original gym members, Katie Sowers, with me. Katie trained with me while she was in high school. She went on from high school to play college softball at the University of Georgia. And we're just going to talk about her experiences with the gym and her collegiate experience and kind of whatever else just pops up. So first off, welcome, Katie.
Thank you for having me.
How did you hear about the gym originally?
Originally, I heard about it through Wesley. We were on the same high school softball team. She had been coming a little bit before with her travel team, and they all had great things to say about it. So I kind of started coming just once or twice a week, and that's how I got started.
What was it like when we did? You said, well, I guess we was talking earlier today. You had a spiral bound. Now we keep track of records of everything in a folder, and I was trying to find her original folder and I couldn't. So I was a little frustrated, but I found everybody else's, but Catherine's. And so we started off with a spiral bound. Did we keep numbers as hardcore then, or do we just kind of bounce around? I don't really remember.
I don't remember the numbers being kept track of as much until we switched to the folders. I remember coming in when we had the little spiral bound notebooks and we would write our workout for the day. You'd have it up on the whiteboard and we'd write it in and you'd adjust weights as need be for each of us.
Yeah, I used to spend a lot of time writing in a spiral bound notebook for everybody. If we was going to do bench, hammer curls here, press downs, pull downs, face pulls, and shrugs, I'd write that in every spiral bound notebook that we had. Then 10, 15 people wouldn't show up for the day and I got pissed.
Yeah.
And so I spent all that time. I was probably spending maybe 3.5 hours trying to write everybody's workouts down, and they'd get there and not show up. Then 5 people would show up late and they didn't even have their spiral in the right spot. So I had to figure out, okay, I'd spend 10, 15 minutes of a group session trying to figure out, okay, I got to write this in. Then I eventually, like you said, I'd write it on board and have them write it in to try to save me some time. But then eventually I came up and said, look, I got to do something different. So then that's how we started the sticker system in the folder.
Yeah.
And then I just typed everybody out, and then I adjusted the numbers. If I didn't want them to do an exercise, I would cross out that exercise. And write something else in. It's a lot easier to make adjustments on something that's already printed out for us, like that. But you and Wesley, y'all were the original, you two were the original girls that helped set up kind of how the office was ran, as far as we didn't even really have an office at the first gym.
Yeah, it was just kind of a little, well, I came in at the second gym, just shortly after you guys moved there, and it was just kind of a little inlet off to the side when we first walked in the door.
Yeah, there was just a little hole in the wall.
It was just a little hole, and people would come in, they'd tell us that they were there, we'd make sure they had the right sticker in their folder, and then get them ready to go for you.
Yeah, but some people didn't even know it was such a hole in the wall that people didn't even know that's where you're supposed to check in.
Oh yeah, no.
And Colton and you and Wesley were back there, and everybody was trying to mess with Colton and scored him with a water bottle. So that's pretty funny. Do you remember any of your starting numbers?
I remember my starting bench was 75 pounds. I think my starting vertical jump was 19.1. I don't remember my squat very much.
We didn't start box. When did we really hit box squatting here?
Yeah, I think it was here. I did it a couple times at that old gym, and then we really started incorporating it regularly at this gym.
I guess when we started testing at the original gym, the first one, we never really tested a lot.
Yeah.
And then the second gym, we started testing outside, but the 40 was kind of uphill. And whether it's windy outside, whether it's raining, you could not test, but now we have a full 40 yards in here to test. So right here, this original location is where we really started figuring out the test numbers, and I guess that's why we started box squatting.
Yeah.
I wish, again, like I had said, had your old folder so we could monitor. I did this for a girl this past year. Every month that she box squatted, her 40-yard dash numbers improved. When I switched to the regular squat, whether it's a regular squat with a pause or a front squat, her 40-yard dash started going back up. And when I switched her back to box squat, it started going back down. And so I actually had a message, I guess it was on Instagram yesterday, because I posted something on Dave Tate, 20 Reasons to Box Squat. what's the difference? I guess the post said, what's the difference between squatting to a box and just regular box squatting? When you're squatting to it, you're using the box as a guide. We don't use it as a guide. We actually sit and explode. And so one of the things I really remember about you, because once we started going for these numbers, I kind of had that in your grained in y'all's head that you got to beat them. You would spend a lot of time. We didn't really do dumbbell jumps either when you first started.
No, that was something I really enjoyed towards the end too, when I really started seeing my numbers go up a lot, and that was really cool to see.
Yeah, try to bounce around. Once we started figuring out how to drive for numbers, that kind of came inbred into you. Your 40 got better. You were scared if you did not do something. If you didn't do it, you would not get better. So you did it no matter what. And I don't know if you remember this, but one day you came in, your back was hurting. And I said, "You all right, Katie?" And I said, let me tell you, if you get hurt today, it could cost you 2 weeks of training, and it could actually be worse. And so you just kind of looked at me and said, all right, Catherine. I called you Catherine. Whatever, Catherine. Look, I know that you're going to push, so you don't have to push today, because I know your back was hurting. And I said, do what you want. And I kind of didn't want you to squat, but anyway, you still went over there and squatted. And so I walked around in front of you to try to see where your pain was, and you had tears rolling down your face, and you were squatting. You remember that day?
I don't remember that.
And
I clearly didn't listen very well.
No, but I said, this is a person that they're coming in, they're hurting, but you still did it because you always wanted to get better. But now we've got a lot of what I call weenie kids. They'll come in with a scratch. Jared, I can't do that. Well, what the freak? Yes, you can. Just because they need to be like you, but you also got to be smart enough when you're young like you were. You can still push, although you have an element, but you've got to be able to listen to your body. I would push. That's how I blew my tricep off. But you only know how far the body can go unless you test it. And speaking of testing, what did I make you do today?
Vertical jump.
The thing I wanted to see how your starting vertical when you was in high school was a 19.1. Your best was a 30.3.
Yes.
And you jumped a 25 what today?
25.4.
When's the last time you jumped?
Probably about 4 years ago. I was very skeptical when you asked me to jump today.
Yeah, I wanted to see, because there's always, once you train it in you, you will have some type of residual effect later on. And I didn't know, and you've always been the perfect test subject. And so I said, when she gets here today, I'm going to ask her to vertical jump and see where it's at. 25 inches. Not jumping in 4 years. And I did the same thing. I'm also a sports performance coach for Clayton State Athletics. I mainly work with the men and women's basketball. And the guys came in, Jared, they call me Coach Strong. So, hey coach, we've not jumped in here. Let's just jump to see where you are. And they almost hit the same numbers that they did when I left, and I was gone for like 3 months, because I don't go in the summers there because it's a D2, so I don't know if D2, how actually that regulates itself. But I was really surprised at how they stuck. And this other kid, Burton Hahn, he's not been here in a year. He came back in, and he jumped at 34 point something when he left. And when he first started the other day, he also jumped at 34 something. I think the jumping's really intriguing. I don't understand how it stays like that. I guess because once you're still involved in sports, like if you were still running and you're still playing softball, I think my basketball players, because running is correlated to jump. And so, but on the other end, I'll have to get something there later. I just kind of want to cover. The kid's vertical stayed the same, but he was not here, so he didn't have the stimulus of the box squat, so his 40-yard dash did not change in a year either. Which is, but it was only like a 5.1. And I wanted to see, because I knew he went somewhere else for speed training, and a year later run the same damn thing. I actually had another kid, Damaris Greer. He went somewhere else, which is a different place. He was going there for a year doing his speed training crap. He ran a 7.2 60-yard dash. Same thing a year later, a 7.2 60-yard dash. He came here within 6 months. He went from a 7.2 to a 6.6. His dad could not believe the improvements, and he's had to be under a 7.0 60-yard dash to get a scholarship offer. And so we really wanted to be a 6.8. We got him down to a 6.6, and he just committed. His dad sent me a text message wanting to thank me today for him improving to a 6.6 because he actually committed to Savannah State to play baseball.
Oh, wow.
And so I think if people will learn how to work for something, they get it. The kid didn't want to believe it. He thought I was trying to break his body. You know, like that day with you crying and you still, but I didn't push you.
Yeah.
I didn't really have to push you or Wesley.
Yeah, the mindset is the biggest thing, and it's hard to teach that.
Yeah.
But when you have people who have that mindset, I think it makes it a lot more enjoyable and just easier to work together in general.
What was your highest bench? You was pretty good.
I think we got up to 185. So I was shooting for the 200, but I went away to college just before I hit that. I hit 185, I think, the summer before I left for college. So.
And you was weighing about 155, 100.
Yeah, I was about 155 when I left for college.
What'd they call you when they got there? You remember?
To college?
Yeah. UGA? What'd they call you?
I don't remember.
You don't?
No, it's been a long time. I've been out of school for a while.
Hey, that's pretty good. Not really jumped. You didn't really jump in college, did you?
No, when I first got there, we maybe tested jumping once, and then my second year on the team, we got a new strength coach, and he was a lot more in line with your philosophies with testing and tracking things and lifting heavier. And so that's when we started testing a little bit more. It was my second year into college.
They called you six-pack when you got there.
I completely forgot about that.
I tell people I'm slightly messed up in the head because I can't remember some stuff, but some things I do remember.
Yeah. Wow, I forgot about that.
Because you were real lean.
Yes, very lean.
And so you was a lean 155 pound, and they couldn't believe how strong or fast you were.
Yes.
We actually got you down to what, a 5'1", 5'19"? What do you remember? What do you remember exactly?
I think it was just under 5'2".
Yeah.
And then
because you had to get that to get on the record board. That's what she was shooting. She also still holds the highest female vertical, broad jump, 8'4".
Yeah.
You was checking out the board when you got here.
Yes, I wanted to see who'd passed me. It's been a while.
Well, you thought Desiree was going to pass you.
Yes, I definitely thought Desiree was coming for all those.
She didn't stay consistent.
Yeah.
I think she almost got to a 200-pound bench, or she may have. I know she did 185 for a couple reps. But she didn't want to do the explosive stuff, to where you would spend a lot of time over there jumping. But a lot of these kids, if I have rights in their jumps in their folder, they skip them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Because they don't realize they'll come in and they suck at jumping at the beginning, but like you didn't even jump a 20, but you got to a 30.
Yeah.
But you tried to beat your numbers like me, or like Lasky, or like Cody and Brooke. Everybody at that time, everybody was trying to beat their numbers.
Yeah. It was a little bit of an addiction there. You just wanted to get better and better, and it was nice when you had that feedback. You could actually see that you're getting better with the numbers.
Yeah, and did I have the Tendo unit then? Or did you? I didn't get that till after you went to college.
You had that, because I remember front squatting with chains, and we were doing it with that at the time.
Trying to hit some different speed numbers.
Yes.
So what about tread sled? We monitored basically our squat numbers, our squat speeds. Mm-hmm. We didn't ever monitor our bench speeds. We always tried to break our jump. We didn't do dumbbell jumps all the time. Do you remember we did different variations of, we would have like the little bear thing we'd jump on. We started off jumping with the bar on our back, and people's too much spinal compression there. Do you remember any other types of jumps we did? Too long out of school?
I remember at the old gym we had the plyo swing, and that's what that was kind of my first introduction with different variations into jumping.
Yeah.
And I liked that a lot. We do a lot of single leg variations, depth jumps in between squats.
Yep. We'd always use the mat with that too.
Yes, so you can gauge how high you were going.
Yeah, because it's like when people would jump without the mat there, it was just like they were jumping down and they're not really exploding. They were kind of like...
They were mainly landing and then rebounding a little bit.
Yeah, they didn't try to really explode up. And the original reason I bought the jump mat was because of the plyo swing.
Oh, really?
Because I was going to nail it to the plow swing so that I could monitor reaction time.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to screw it up because it's like $700. And so I was wanting to somehow tape it or bolt it to the plow swing and work on a reaction time, because you can do like 4 jumps and it tells you average height of jump and reaction time. But when we do the plow swing, it's got a band tied to it, so it actually slingshots us back quicker to the mat. And so I couldn't get a lot of people to buy in with that. So then I said, okay, let's kind of go off of this ground reaction times. We started at the old gym where we were just trying to jump 4 times, trying to get that 0.2 of a second reaction time or quicker. But then we started doing depth jumps, and we started landing on the mat. We were not on the ground for 0.2 of a second. We were on the ground a little bit longer. Come down, land, boom, then explode. And that's when I originally figured out these depth jumps with the mat, because I took a picture of Brooks jumping, and his feet were higher than the box, and it was a 30-inch box. I said, holy crap.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of the original jump pictures. Then I tried to do different variations with dumbbells, weighted vest. We jumped still on a plow swing. I set up different jump stations around the gym and tried to figure out which one worked best. And how I came up with the dumbbell jumps, I'm actually going to come out with a book on that.
Oh, really?
We've got a lot of people wanting to know how that originated. And they see that our vertical jumps, you've jumped a 30-inch vertical as a female. Katie Sowers, I had Ryan King jump a 30-inch vertical as she was a 8th grade middle school lacrosse girl. I think I don't know if Desiree has. I'm not really put all my females down on the list as far as, but I know you had. Did Wesley ever get there?
I think she was close if she didn't get to that point.
I know I had Catherine McCormick, Sarah Grace, Ryan King. I can't really think. And then once I had my girls jumping 30 inches, then you get a new girl coming in like you were jumping 19 or 20. They're frustrated. That's why they don't want, because they don't think they can get there. It takes time.
It does.
And so we came up with dumbbell jumps, and we jumped with weight. I was reading a book on how a shot put person increases their distance. And they'll jump or throw a shot put with a standard, which is standard shot, or a heavy shot followed by 2 standards and things like that. And so then I'll talk about that process as to how to manipulate or how to wave the weight in order to get a continual increase in vertical jump performance. Kind of like a wave pattern like they do at Westside Barbell. Let's talk about your recruiting process as far as going to UGA.
Yeah. So I was kind of late in the game choosing colleges and stuff, because I hadn't really decided if I was even going to play ball in college. And so later on in my senior year, I went to a camp at UGA. It was a hitting camp. And that's when they took notice of me. I had been contacting with them a little bit back and forth. And based off of my performance at the camp, where I had hit several home runs, they decided to offer me a position on the team as a walk-on. And it wasn't really till my senior year that I had actually started hitting all those home runs. And there was definitely a big correlation in between my strength and my performance on the field.
Yeah, and that's what I tell people. Then bench press is correlated to swing speed, whether it's in golf, softball, baseball, or tennis. And these little baseball weenies next door, they just want to go practice their skill. But if they increase the physical ability, like you was working on your skill all the time.
Yes, I worked on my skill a ton. And then when I started incorporating the weightlifting aspect into it, and not just lifting heavy, but being powerful with it, that's when I really started to notice a difference. Because you can have technique, but you also have to have the power behind it. Yeah,
and I think that's what a lot of people don't. They'll just go work on skill year round and neglect the power. And I tell people, you have to have the physical ability to perform the task.
Absolutely.
And once you have the physical ability, you have to have the skill. So you don't neglect one for the other. You kind of work on them in unison. Like my basketball guys, we had an average in 6.5, 7 weeks, had an average increase 35 pounds on their bench press. But their shots not enough, because I told them to make sure they continually shoot. And now the girls are so happy, my basketball females are, because they can shoot the ball further, and now they can have more touch because that strength has allowed them not to have to try so hard at the three-point line, to where they now can have a little bit more touch because they got the power, so they can back down.
Yeah.
And so they're trying at a lesser effort to get the ball there.
Yeah.
And so it helps. You just got to get people to realize it. And that's kind of why I want to do these podcasts, to try to teach people and hopefully educate somebody. You know, we don't just work out; we monitor numbers.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't think people appreciate the time that has to go into this stuff. It's not just an overnight change, and like you said, you can't just focus on one area. It's really the bigger picture. You have to do it all if you want to get to that next level.
Yeah, and I just don't write a workout on the board. This is her folder, Sour Power. Everything's written by me, what I want you to do for the day, and then if this day is, then this day's based off of how this day went, and that's you. I do that for everybody.
Yes.
I just don't write a workout on the board. It ain't like a CrossFit where you got, hey, let's work out of the day. This is what we're gonna try to torture you with. It's not real torture either, though, is it? I mean, our paces are a lot slower.
Yes.
We got to recover between each set.
Yes.
In order to give enough power. I think you've learned that by the way your numbers look. But you'll see somebody, they'll have, like I said, if you got a 5, then you may have a 3, then a 5. That means I know you didn't rest long enough between sets. So once you learn to figure out your rest breaks, then I can regulate the whole gym off of that. And specifically for you and Wesley, you and Wesley never really had the same sets and reps sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think for me when I first started, I had a hard time with that rest concept.
Yeah, a lot of people want to come in for a workout. They want to come in and get it over with.
Yes.
And just not come in and see how fast you can knock stuff up. And that's what little kids are getting at nowadays. Some people want to come in for a fitness workout and not training. And then they got to realize there's a difference between training and working out. Yeah. And when we're training, we're going after a number. We're going for a strength increase, a vertical jump increase, a speed increase. We're going for athletic performance parameters.
Yeah. I think as a girl also, that mindset has never really been ingrained in us growing up. It was more the fitness aspect when it comes to working out. It was never the going hard and heavy for big numbers. That was never really taught to us. So it was a big change in mindset, but one that really paid off.
Now, from explosive to UGA, what was were y'all's workouts were not monitored like that when you first got there, were you? Or were you ever specifically, your numbers were not changed per workout? How did that work? I never really asked you.
Yeah, so a lot of times when I first got there, it was very overarching. The whole team would kind of be doing the same thing. We would still do some squats and bench, and there might be variations depending on position. So pitchers might be doing some slightly different things than the rest of the team. But then my second year, we focused a lot more, and it was a lot more individualized when it came to numbers, especially because we would actually have max out days. And off of that, he would give us our percentages, and we would go from there for our next kind of segment or section of the workout for that semester, or however many week period that we were going to be in there working. So it was cool because I got to see 2 different approaches to it.
Yeah, you didn't really work out. This is the only place you've been when you was in high school, right?
Yeah, this was it.
And so you got to see what they do at the collegiate level. It's not all what they make it out to be, though, is it?
No, and it was interesting to see the different sports too, because each sport had their own strength coach, and each had their own approach depending on the sport that they were coaching. So gymnastics, seeing their workouts was a lot different than what we were doing.
Yeah, the gym dogs are real good.
Yes, they are very good. They'd be over there knocking out some pull-ups just continuously. And then so we'd also have the opportunity to work from golf to basketball to the gym dogs. So we'd see a lot of different variations in workouts.
Yeah, and when you was at UGA, how far did y'all make into SEC championship?
We won my second year.
Yeah.
We were SEC champions in 2014.
Yeah, so it's 14, almost 2019 is coming up.
Told you, it's been a minute.
So, no, that's cool. I remember watching you. Did you steal home or did you just make it home?
I tagged. I tagged up at third. We had a sacrifice fly out to shallow right field in one of our regional games.
So speed paid off, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
There was I tried to screenshot it. It's a very fuzzy picture, but you they put your face on ESPN in front of your face, or your chest was an explosive mechanics bottle.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. And so I never put. It's just so blurry. But I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what was did your numbers drop as far as your total strength numbers and stuff? Well, let's talk about this. What they do different at UGA than we did here, they did a lot of power cleans. We never power cleaned.
No, we did not. That was one thing I was really nervous about going into UGA when I heard that we'd be doing that, because that was never something that we really focused on.
Yeah, we started working at it.
Yeah.
I don't know I think I may have gotten you up to 155 pounds or maybe 140. It was not very high.
Yeah, it wasn't very high, and I still was pretty uncomfortable just with the whole technique aspect of it. And then my second year there was when it finally started clicking for me. It took a while. That one was very...
But you got up to where you was power cleaning a lot.
Yeah, I was probably 180 something when I was up there. So that was...
180 pound power clean.
Yeah.
What happened to your vertical?
It definitely suffered a little bit.
But what I want to get at with that is you didn't jump 30 inches anymore.
Yeah.
So although you did power clean, which is supposed to be a power movement, it was not translating into power.
Yeah.
Because the only way to test power is a vertical jump or a broad jump. But did y'all ever test broad jump there?
We did a couple times. It wasn't as consistent as our vertical. Our vertical was the main focus, I'd say.
And I've been talking with some more basketball strength and conditioning coaches, and they don't do power cleans with their athletes either at the collegiate level.
Oh, really?
Just because it don't transfer. Like I was talking to Lasky. He left here with a 32-inch vertical, did 4 years of power cleans at Georgia Tech, came back with a 32-inch vertical, and we started training for his pro day. And same thing with Mike Hinderman. So a lot of athletes are doing power cleans, and it's not necessary for an increase in explosive power.
Yeah.
Especially if your jump goes down.
Yeah.
No one wants to jump less, especially once you have gotten to a 30.
Yeah. I think also part of it is when you're at that collegiate level, the strength coaches don't get a whole lot of time with you necessarily. A lot of it's focused on the field practice and skills training. So the strength coaches have to get in what they can when they can.
Yeah, we're the same way at Clayton State. I have my girls' basketball team. I've got 16 of them. Get this, and I've got 2 racks.
Oh wow.
16 girls, 2 racks, and they all come in. I've got 45 minutes. And then it's such a bad situation to where we're in a recreation center, so average students come in there too, because they're redoing our athletic building this semester. And so I cannot get what I want to out of them.
Yeah.
But I do make sure that we squat, we bench, and we jump if we do anything.
Yeah.
Because I want those numbers, but their sport coaches don't really care about the numbers, but I care about the parameters. You got I think they overrun them too much.
Yeah.
Y'all run a lot at UGA?
Thankfully, no. We did not run too much. We would do some pretty hardcore conditioning in our off season, but then when it came time for season, we didn't really do a whole lot of running. And even in that off season, it was pretty condensed, our period that we would be doing that heavy running. So it didn't last for a long period of time.
Yeah. Speaking not of time and things like that, I was speaking with the Georgia Tech strength coach for basketball, Dan Taylor, the other day. He says that the coaches they only have 4 hours they can work with them. And he said one day the coaches went over, so he couldn't make it mandatory, so they just came in as they could. But he tests there too to make sure that the athletes improve. And I was also talking to the Cincinnati strength coach. Cincinnati strength coach for basketball, he tests a VO2 max, he tests different things to make sure, hey, look, Jared, Katie's not in shape. Oh, well, look, her VO2 max is up 15%.
Yeah.
So he kind of does that to prove just because they look like they're dragging on the court or whatever sport it is that they do, does not mean they're not in shape. You've gotten better. I don't know sometimes what the coaches see. I actually had a kid here. He was playing basketball. He improved from a 1.9 10-yard dash to a 1.6 something 10-yard dash. And his dad came and said he's slower. So I pulled his folder out and I said, no, look, it's a way to cover myself because people associate lifting weights with getting slower.
Yeah. They definitely do.
And so they're wanting to try to pull something or throw something out, but when you throw concrete numbers back at them, they can't. They're this. Oh, okay. I don't know what's wrong with that.
Yeah.
So then it's a way to cover myself, and it's a way for them to cover themselves too at Georgia Tech and Cincinnati, because the head coach don't care as long as he wins.
Yeah.
And so our job is to physically prepare them, and it's their job to technically prepare them. And so as long as they can technically compare, and as long as I've got my numbers and my little science lab over here, that just covers them. That way they got proof.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the biggest thing. It also helps create buy-in. Like once you learn how to rest longer, once they learn how to rest longer between sets and stuff, and they see themselves getting stronger, they're more apt to listen to me. You know, if I'm like the guys at Clayton State, they have realized, and the girls, that we have to rest this amount of time instead of, the weight room's not a conditioning tool.
Yeah.
It's a performance thing. If you want conditioning, if you want body shaping, if you just want to be in better overall health, don't come here.
Yeah.
Because I want my numbers, just like what Louis does at Westside Barbell. If you're not trying to get on that board, you're not doing anything. You're just in my way. So I think monitoring numbers is a big thing.
Yeah. Something I've heard a lot too is people have been associating weightlifting with an increase in injury when it comes to playing sports and everything. But I know, especially from my own personal experience, I've never had an injury.
Yeah, and I've had Ryan King. She plays lacrosse, and someone broke a lacrosse stick over her arm. And she just trucks girls out there. But her dad said something, Jared, if she was not as strong as she is, when they did something to her one time, she would have been majorly hurt.
Yes.
But thankfully that we've been coming here and she's much stronger, that strength protected her. And Ainsley Purefoy is as funny as she was, she landed on her leg wrong and a girl almost cross-hacked it and could have broke her leg, but she was a pretty good squatter. I think she was up to 200 pounds.
Yeah.
And without that leg strength, she wouldn't have been able to withstand that force.
Yeah.
The thing about strength is, once you load the body, you're gonna increase ligament tendon thickness, which helps with joint stabilization. And then the muscles around, if they get stronger, the muscle will engage first, then the ligaments and tendons are your backup to make sure that joint does not blow out. And so I even had someone fly over here from Germany to help me repair their ACL.
Oh, wow.
And so, but I think if people, I don't understand why people don't really get that, you know. But you're not big. You're not big and bulky.
It's not big.
Especially
and that's another
big thing with females.
Yes, we're always told, don't lift heavy, you're going to get big. And even somewhat through my college, the first degree that I got, which was in exercise and sports science, some people within that major had kind of the same mindset. And I thought...
But they didn't work out though, did they?
No. And then when we finally got to the lecture portion of it and they kind of read it in the textbook and they saw that that's not the case, then they kind of started coming around to the idea of it. But yeah, we're always told as girls, don't lift heavy, you're gonna get big.
Yeah, I used to have that a whole lot when I first started. I went through several periods of years where I've not heard that, and I recently started reoccurring.
Oh, really?
Jared, I don't want to get big. What the freak?
Yeah.
Kyle, I think Colton, I had him bench 405 for 2 as a junior. It's on Instagram. I'll probably repost that when I'm going to get Colton on podcast, although he don't like to talk. And he's going to be video this time, just like you. And I don't like video, and Catherine don't like video, but whatever.
We'll make it work.
Colton's arms is not very big. Probably not as big as this mic at 405.
Yeah, no.
And people would come here. I've even had dads come here question me, thought my athletes were on steroids because they were so strong. And Brooks, he originally came because of Brooks got so much better. Brooks went from a 255 to a 365 front squat, went from running a 5.4 to a 4.5, and his dad said, this ain't the same kid. What have you been doing and where you been going? So then this was the Kinnemans, and told him, and Dad came here and started trying to check stuff out, check me out, and stuff like that. He wanted to see what I look like and what I do. And then he started coming, and his kids couldn't get over how fast they improved. But you don't have to be big to be strong.
No.
And I think that hurts people because everybody wants to see someone that's big, especially if you play football. And I told him, he I don't know how to grow that tissue like he does, but he's also told me, because he stopped by here about a week or so ago, and he said, I can't create that explosive power like you do, but it's our mind, you know. He was a bodybuilder, and I'm a human performance coach.
Yeah, it's different mindset, different techniques behind it, but...
Yeah, because if you look at a CrossFitter, you look at a bodybuilder, you look at a weightlifter, they're all body shape different.
Yes.
So it really depends on what you really want to go for.
Yeah.
And if you just go to the gym, you go to World Gym or gym down the street or whatever, and if you think you can do your own thing, you may be reading something on the internet that may make you big, or you may not get as strong, you may just get a workout.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to work out, that's okay. But if you want to perform, you have to do something specifically to perform, not just bounce around.
Yeah, and there's just a lot of misinformation out there, and people generally don't really know where to look to get the results that they want.
Yeah, and I have a hard time with that because there's a couple performance places around here that's tried to, or that have opened up and tried to compete, but they don't even test. And so the gym's not very fancy here, is it? It's raw.
Yeah.
You know, it's a gym. If you go to Westside Barbell, Louis got his freaking dumbbells on the floor. You're not allowed to rack weights.
Oh, really?
You're here to work.
Yeah.
If you want to be clean and nice and fancy, see ya.
Yeah.
You know, because I want you to work. Just like you came in today and said, hey, Katie, you're going to jump. And, Jared, I don't know about that. And then you said, I don't think I've got it. I said, I bet you can get a 25. Then you jumped to 23 and stuff like that. I said, no. And I said, one more time. One more time. But you got it.
Yeah.
I get a number in my head and I try to get you to chase that number.
Yeah. And sometimes it's hard to have that for yourself, so it's nice when you have somebody who pushes you to get to that number.
You didn't think you was going to get to it.
No, I didn't. When you told me get to 25, I said, oh, okay, Jared.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with Ben. Ben's got a jump mat and stuff like that at Stanford, and he cannot quite get. I'm not there with you. You know, I don't know. We can talk about what's going on through the day or figure out how. Okay, see how you jump or whatever. Then we can change it. But I was really proud of your 25 because it's better than you did when you first started.
Yes, I really was not expecting that, but.
When's the last time you've done something athletic?
Athletic?
Run, jump, sprint?
Yeah, it's been years.
Yeah, and you still had that built in you.
Yeah.
You still had, I don't think it'd take long to get you to 28.
Yeah.
There's always some type of residual effect once you have something that's been trained in you. But just because you're not good at it, don't mean you cannot become better. Yeah. You can get better at whatever you want to, if you have the dedication to do it.
I remember you telling me too when I had broke the 135 mark on bench, and I was all excited because I got to use the big girl plates finally, and you said, if you keep going at this, pretty much no matter what you do for the rest of your life, you're going to be able to get to that point pretty easily if you stop training and then get back to it. Your body's going to be able to get back to that point.
Yeah, because it's been there before.
Yeah.
But you still work out.
Yes. I do. And it was funny when you said you have the time constraints with your female basketball players and you just want to get that bench, squat, jump. And even in my schedule and stuff, I try and make sure I do at least get bench, squat. Haven't been good about the jump, but bench and squat, I got to make sure I get those in.
It sucks to jump if you don't have something to monitor it.
Yes.
And we've used the jump mat. There's other devices out there that may be okay. You know, like I've got the G-Flight. You don't know what that is because it monitors your vertical jump, but it's two little devices sit here, and if we drop a dumbbell on the mat's safe. Okay. But if you drop a dumbbell on that G-Flight, you may be buying another G-Flight.
Okay.
Just like the Tendo unit's been holding up we got the same Tendo units we originally had.
Oh, really?
And they've held up, especially with the number of people that flow through here. And
Yeah.
as much as some of them don't pay attention, I've been
Mhm.
really, really happy with them. Um, so is there anything else you'd like to cover?
I don't think so. I mean, this whole experience here for me was, like I said, a change in mindset, and that was probably the hardest thing at first, because we're told our whole life one thing, and then having the new altered mindset and getting into it. But once you buy in and you monitor and you test,
What do you think? You think the testing helped click? What do you think? What do you think it took?
I definitely think it was the testing, because that gave you motivation month to month. I need this. You had a number in mind that you were setting out to beat, and every day I came in here to train, I had that number in the back of my head that that's what I'm trying to beat.
Mhm.
And I may have performance goals out on the field that I'm also trying to accomplish, but that number was really focused into my brain as that's what I'm working towards. I need to get to that next month. So I
Yeah.
think that made a big difference.
Yeah, they're always one leads to two, two leads to three, and by the time we get down here to four, I'm able to look at, okay, let's make adjustments here for
Mhm.
five. You know, and I think that's what the whole thing with folders, because everything's handwritten by me as far
Yeah.
as what numbers I want you to do.
Yeah.
Like everybody may have bench at the top of their sheet, but how they bench and what they bench is going to be
Mhm.
different.
Yeah.
Um,
And when we changed different aspects of the workout, we could really monitor if that was helping improve a certain area. I remember when we started doing a lot of 45 hyper
mhm.
with the bar and stuff, that's when I noticed a big jump in my broad jump.
Yeah, 45 helper, for you, those you don't know, help a lot with broad jump.
Yeah.
We started, used a huge cambered bar.
Mm-hmm.
The different exercises will lead to that, but yeah, you wanted to break the broad jump record.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, Katie, this is what you got to do. So we started loading 45 hyper up
Yep.
with the cambered bar, and we pushed the strength up on it. I can't remember. Do you remember were you able to do 45s on each side,
Yeah.
or did we do
I got up to 45s
on each side? That's 155 pounds on your back, because that bar is a 65-pound
Yeah.
bar. And you started off, you couldn't even do 25s on each side.
No.
But you pushed.
Yeah.
You know, we just didn't go over. I hate seeing people doing goblet squats and talk about performance.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot load the human body heavy enough to get a stimulus out of a goblet squat. You can use a goblet squat for mobility,
Mm-hmm.
but you cannot use it to increase strength
Yeah.
unless you're super weak. And if you're that weak, I don't know if you will come in the door. But you can use the 45 hyper as an exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it, or you can grind for some numbers, and that's what we did. We eventually pushed it up, and you fought that, and as you did, you saw the result. What happened?
Yeah.
You got the broad jump record.
Yeah.
It's still there for, when was your last year here?
I think I saw 2013 on there.
2013.
Yeah.
You know how many girls hate that? I can't even get people to do it.
Really?
No.
That was one of my favorites.
Yeah, but I guess because once you start doing it and you get better at it, then you
Yeah.
become to like it.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing about the results and the buy-in is once you see that you can actually improve,
Mm-hmm.
you're getting better and better. Like this girl that came last year, she didn't really want to do anything, and she didn't think she was going to get better. She got better. She got better. Now she's pushing the other ones around her to get better. And I've got the same thing happening to my Clayton State men's basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
There was a kid last year that I couldn't get to do anything. And what do you mean you can't get him to do it? If I wanted you to lay down and bench 155 and you didn't want to do it, you just let the bar sit there.
Yeah.
You're not going to push it up. You can't make someone. You
Yeah.
can't make someone do this. They're going to have to want to do it at a certain point. And sometimes I'll let kids come in here and I don't even talk to them sometimes. I just, all right, we're going to do this, this, and this. Once I see that they're really starting to try to push, then I'll start trying to help them. But I don't, sometimes depending on the personality of the kid, I'll pick out, all right, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, and try to either build their confidence,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm seeing which ones are in here that really want to be in here. And if they want to be in here,
Yeah.
not because their parents want them to be in here, I'll help them and try to push them and try to build a little bit more motivation into them.
Yeah.
But I never saw Brooks Hardy's parents for 2 years.
Yeah.
Just dropped them off, came to the gym. I said, what the hell am I going to do with this kid? Brooks couldn't jump over that folder right there, laying flat. And Sean Nicholas, were you here when who was your crowd?
Muska, we had McDougal, McTier. These are all at the older gym. Carson Bobbitt, he was a year younger than us. For females, it was Allie, Wesley, Emily Polly.
Yep.
The twins were here when I first
Danielle
got here.
Chanel.
Yes. Who else were some of the girls?
When you started, I had more girls than guys.
Yeah, I think a lot of the softball girls too, because they would come in as a team.
Yeah, I had softball, and I had a lot of volleyball girls.
Yeah.
I worked with Trinity Christian for 2 years, back-to-back state champions.
Mhm.
I worked with Sandy Creek when Allie was there. I worked with her team 2 years ago, back-to-back state champions on that
Yeah.
division. I've been working with Clayton State. They've won back-to-back Peach Belt Conference champions for the
wow.
men's. And so, and people will ask or tell me some things, and I forget stuff that I've done.
Yeah.
It's been almost 11 years coming up.
Yeah.
And so I can remember certain things, but some of these kids in here nowadays, like I remember Mikey, the story in the gym when I made him do something. Remember that Mikey threw all, I don't know if you do or not, but yeah, I got to get Mikey on here. He's a terrorist.
He is. I was just thinking the other day about when he jacked one of your ladders and taped his folder up high on the rafter one day.
Yeah, this 16-foot ceiling.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but that was a good, hard-working crowd.
Yes, and I remember especially before I went to college, it didn't matter guy, girl, there was a group of us that would come in the morning, we'd all condition together.
Me, you, Wesley, Mikey, and Carson.
Yes.
And there are some days I did not want to do it.
Yes.
And Mikey pushed me to freaking do it. And I hate running. And I was
Yeah.
conditioning with y'all to get y'all ready.
Yeah.
Because y'all are all leaving to go into college at the same time. And I was freaking horrible.
Yeah. Those were some long days, but it was nice to have that group because we all were there to push each other and we worked hard and we competed. That was a big thing.
We would jump and we'd run together.
Yeah.
And when I didn't want to do it, I was pushing Mikey to get up and go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but your parents never forced you to come here, did they?
No, not at all. In fact, when I started becoming more and more interested here,
They're trying not to make you go, huh?
they were like, what is this place that you're at all the time? What is
Yeah.
going on here? And so my mom came and checked it out, and then she was all on board. She loved it. I think she liked all the confidence she saw that it gave me.
Yeah, I think that's on the wall. I don't know if the video could pick it up, but that's, my wife had things made over there. What people get out of it, and the
Yeah.
biggest thing over there is confidence on the top sign.
Yes. My parents always say that they noticed that was one of the biggest differences.
I had Nicole Gagne. She went off to MIT to play volleyball. Remember, was Nicole here when you were here?
Yes, yes.
Y'all's group of girls, I think, was the last group of girls. And when you Wesley went off to college, I was a big baby, you know, because I knew it's very hard to find a group like y'all.
Yeah.
And I do have a girl today, Emily. I don't know if you saw Emily, but there's also another little Alex, a little bitty one with a little bitty shorts on.
Oh, yeah.
She's 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
And so if she can stay consistent, she can be somebody.
Yeah.
But I like the parents that, like Brooks, just drop the kid off and let me deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you'll get some parents, my kid don't want to do it. The kid wants to do it, but sometimes the kid does not want to do it. But you know, ultimately, like the kid's got goals that they're writing down in their folder.
Mm-hmm.
But if they have a bad day or two, their parents will pull them out, because I'm not wasting my money if he's not wanting to do it. You're letting your kid dictate what he wants to do. You know, he wants to go, but you're holding him back because he's having bad days or not doing most of it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't punish him by taking him out.
Yeah.
Hey, you're going to go.
You encourage them to push through it and work harder.
Yeah, just be consistent. I think
Yeah.
even if you have bad days, like some day, did you have days where you just come in and bench only, or do you always do extra stuff?
No, there were some days definitely that it just was a rough day. And I feel like probably by the end of the day, because I hung out here so long, I'd end up doing more by the end of it.
But we didn't try to knock it all out within a 45-minute time
Yeah.
period. You know, some days you'd come in and just bench and be done.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, you were here so much, you just may, as you felt better through the day, you may pick up and
Yeah.
do some stuff. It's not a workout.
Yeah.
It's training, and we're trying to get adaptations. We're not just trying
Mm-hmm.
to in here for weight loss after you eat turkey. So, yeah, that's good. You keep track with any of the girls? Wesley, you still talk to Wesley?
Yeah, Wesley and I are still close. She's probably the only one who I've remained in contact with from here who we worked out. We definitely had a good workout relationship. We'd push each other pretty hard to keep going. Sometimes a little too much with each other.
Yeah, it was always a constant battle, but I think I miss that. You know, I do have some kids that will compete, but they're not always competing. They're here a short period of time, then they may be absent and go wherever and come back. So Mikey always competed. Carson and Brooks always competed.
Yes.
Those were, it's not totally gone, but you know, I guess also the gym's bigger.
Yeah.
There's a lot more people too, so I don't really see some of the, you don't really have the niche groups anymore, but you do have a couple individuals that would push. If I could just group them all together, they're just at different age groups.
Yeah. We definitely had some tight-knit groups, and it was nice to see everybody kind of grow up and go off and do their own thing.
Yep.
And
now everybody, Brandy's married, or almost married. She's gonna have a kid.
I think in January.
Yeah, Brandy, Brandy may have gotten to a 30-inch vertical. Brandy was a little hard-headed, hard to get by. Did Brandy condition with us that summer? Or was it just me, you, and Wesley?
She did occasionally.
But she eventually learned how to push too.
Yes, and she racked up some high numbers on squat. I remember that.
Yeah, and she, I remember her telling me when she got to Minnesota, she went to the University of Minnesota to play softball. As she almost broke the all-time vertical jump record when she got there as an incoming freshman. And as the semester went on, her vertical jump went down. And they were trying to alter her technique and do different things to her like that. They were just not giving her the stimulus or letting her jump like she was supposed to. And they also used a jump mat there to test her with. And so they couldn't figure it out. So when she came home for Christmas, I spiked it back up to where it was. I think it was a 29 something at that point. And she got there. I don't know if she eventually broke the record or not. But she said, I tried to tell y'all, but they don't listen. But then that's funny because she hated it. She'd come in, try to go to sleep. She'd walk in and find a bench and put her head down and, no, Brandy, we got to go to work today.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what happens when you only have 4 or 5 people. Like you, Wesley, Brandy, you can pull them now. You got sometimes 12. So I've even had 27 people in here at one time.
Wow.
And trying to organize. And Jared, you're not organized. Well, I didn't know 27 people were coming at this time, you know, because we deal with athletes and athletes only, and we're around their schedule. And so, like if you have a softball game today and you put your folder in for today, you may not make it, so you may just come the next day. And if that happens to several other kids, it's kind of be that way, you know.
Yeah.
So it can be real busy sometimes, and sometimes it can be real light, you know.
Yeah.
The consistency is the biggest thing, because you and Wesley were always consistent. Mikey was consistent. They even tried to come through season. Did you come through season? Do you remember?
Yeah, I believe so. Man, it's been a long time.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know Mikey tried to. I know sometimes lacrosse. I think lacrosse is a different animal. I've had, like, Carson never really came during lacrosse season as much as dedicated as he was.
Yeah.
And I think baseball is kind of hard, but I think the year-round sports is killing everybody. I think they're working more skill and not really work on that physical ability.
Yeah, I think as long as we didn't have a game or it wasn't a tournament weekend, I think Wesley and I were usually here.
Yeah.
After practice or something late at night.
Here too much.
Yeah. You probably got sick of us.
But no, y'all were the originals. Y'all helped start off how the office system works, how we check in people.
I was just checking that out
when
I got in here.
A little fancy now, huh?
Yeah, a little upgrade.
Granite countertop. So it's got the blue and gray in it.
Yeah.
So, well, that's good. Well, everybody, thanks for listening. Katie, thanks for being on.
Thank you.
Long time no see, huh?
Yes, it's been too long.
So, anyway, if y'all have any questions, please email me at info@explosivemechanics, or you can message me on Instagram at explosivemechanics if I can remember to check my messages. Like I was telling Katie earlier, I have my notification set up to where it pops up, so if you don't hear back from me for 2 weeks, email me. And if you don't hear back from me, that's because I'm going to wait and save it for a podcast. So I'll try to do a better job of answering those questions. Thanks for listening. Y'all have a good day. Thanks, Katie.
Yay, good